Welcome. Welcome, everybody.
Trevor Call, welcome. How are you?
I'm so great. Thank you for inviting me on.
It's good to have you.
We're glad to have you, our dear listeners of the Saunders Sides podcast. How does it make you feel that you are a Saunders Sides podcast listener? I bet you feel pretty special.
Pretty proud.
And we're proud of you. I hope you get something out of this podcast that helps you out with your life.
As today we are discussing topics that have to do with life and death.
One of the biggest dilemmas in this life is this question. Why live if the only thing it leads to is death?
Dark.
Dark, very dark. Tell me your thoughts on that, Piers.
I feel like that's the dilemma of life is death, because knowing that you're going to die is just the dilemma of being alive. Like just knowing that your life is going to come to an end is kind of, it's ironic in a way.
I think the key part of that question is the first word, like why. So like waking up and going throughout your day, kind of like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing all these things if eventually it's just going to end and be over? Or like, why are we trying to have all of these experiences if it's just going to end, you know?
Exactly. Thankfully, I feel like recently I discovered that, or I've realized that it's almost like you can look at it in a glass half full, glass half empty type of a way, where you can look at it as in, why am I living when I'm just going to die eventually? Or you can look at it as in, I'm so excited to live every day because I know that I'm going to die one day.
You only have a limited amount of days. You never know what it's going to be. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's true. It is all about perspective. I think that's why I want people to realize that they need to get out and break their routine of like their daily life, because like, why just live this boring routine if you only have a certain amount of time on this earth, you know?
Right. Yeah. Time is limited. Time is the only thing that we can't really control is our time on earth, our time alive, our time, how we spend it is what writes our story in life.
Yeah.
Through traveling, it's definitely helped, I feel like, with me personally, of understanding time and life. And when we go out in the outdoors and we're by these huge rocks or mountains or valleys or canyons or oceans, and you think about how small and insignificant you are just in like Earth sense. And then we were at a space museum recently and we were looking at moon stuff and astronauts and how small we are. To even think that like traveling around the world is cool. People have been to space. They've been to the moon. They've stepped on a moon, you know? That's
on
awesome.
A moon.
On a
so
moon.
Funny.
On our moon. And then you just you can kind of keep going in that rabbit hole of like the universe and the galaxy and how small we are. But specifically with Earth, you think about all the people that have lived too and all their lives and their issues and the things that they've overcame, and like trillions and trillions of people, right? And the Earth has just been around for trillions and trillions of years. So in the grand scheme of things, we are small and we are nothing. I can definitely see also the glass half empty side of why live when there's like nothing to live for, I guess. Why live when we're going to die type of an idea, right? We're so small, we're so insignificant. Well, hello.
Well, bomber.
Dive bomber.
Sorry, folks. Spider problem. The eagle has landed. Wow, he just blends right in there. Huh.
Came rappelling down.
I could have been Spider-Man. It's on your face. No, it's not. It was going to bite me and I was going to shoot webs out of my fingers. So, like, my hands. I hate you so much.
For what?
Killing the spider that was going to turn me into Spider-Man.
I don't even know if his mouth is big enough to even
You're
bite.
You're right. Half full, half empty. I think of both ways a lot of the time and try to, like, this is so terrible to say. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm such an average person. So,
aren't we all, though, really?
I mean, no. I feel like they're spectacular people. I feel like we're all spectacular in different ways. Anyways, besides the point. Average, as in I played a lot of different sports instead of just playing one and doing club, you know, and so I just like to be a part of it all. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, I like to take all of these sorts of opinions and, you know, understand all of them and take bits of them and then develop my own opinions. You know what I mean?
Right.
So in that sense, I think of the earth and like you were saying, we're so tiny, like we're ants on this rock and millions of years have gone by. Like there's a lot of times when I find a place like hiking and stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like the first one to find this. And I'm like, no, there's definitely been at least thousands of people that have seen this before for most things. Some
Right.
things there's definitely like very few eyes have laid on.
Very few people
Have laid their eyes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. You know what I mean? But in thinking about that, thinking about how long the world has been here and how many people have gone through, it helps me in my problems, like stressing out over like little details. It helps me come to terms that the earth is going to continue to rotate, you know, like the sun is going to rise no matter what.
Life will go on.
Right. And so like, obviously there's definitely times when you need to spend time on yourself and work through like a hard time, but in the grand scheme of things, hard times are very little.
Right. I get what you're saying. Like when I feel like knowing that death is around the corner for you, regardless of your age or whatever, just knowing that there's a possibility of dying any day and knowing that there is an expiration date to your life, it definitely can be a knowledge that helps you get through your difficult times.
Right. In the sense of dating, like in high school, there were girls that I was stressed about and like, oh my gosh, like they haven't texted me back or they don't want to hang out with me anymore or they're dating someone, whatever it was. Like I was so bummed about it and it was so on my mind and so present. And now I'm like, I don't even know any of their names.
Right.
You know? So it's just funny whenever you think about that and think about how little time you have to live on earth, like why stress about it? Why stress about pointless things? Instead, just try to experience life and be happy and try to accomplish what you want to while you're here.
Exactly. And that's what I was about to say is that I feel like it also helps you with direction in your life, knowing that there's things like you can make your life whatever you want.
Right.
So you get to create and you get to spend your time and energy on things that you care about and you're passionate about, things that you know are going to help you or your family in the future. And yeah, this idea of life and death, this whole topic that we're talking about kind of reoccurred or it's in the forefront of my mind again because of this experience that I shared with you already, Trevor. But the other day at work, I got called in and I knew I was going to get called in to do this sort of easy, just a smaller heart case, kind of just go in, check them out, clean them up a little bit and close their chest.
Whoever, if anybody forgot, Pierce is a surgical tech, works at the hospital, not ER.
Just in the OR, cardiac surgery stuff.
Right. He's opening chests, you know, legally and in a hospital and it's
I'm not
everything
doing
okay.
that. You know, I just help the guys.
Okay. Sorry. Had to throw that in there.
Thank you. That would be probably a good preface.
But we're not saying it ever again. So you got to remember that. Pierce, OR.
Work in the OR. We're putting this person's chest together. Easy money, right? Then we get a call and they start talking about this emergency case that's going to have to come up, this patient, something, you know, something bad happened. I was just kind of observing the people in the room, trying to gather some information about what to get ready for the case and how to get ready. And one of the anesthesiologists just had a terrible attitude about it all of like, why are we helping this patient? Like just send him to another place, like blah, blah, blah. Kind of like, this is my life. I want to go home. I want to go live my life. And I realized, because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, golly, I'm going to be here all day now instead of going home and getting some stuff done and having fun and living my life.
Because this was Saturday, right?
Yeah, it was a Saturday morning. And I knew that I would be there all day. I was on call till 7 that night. So I would for sure have been there. But because that guy had such a bad attitude and was so vocal about it, it really helped me have a better perspective. And then as I was setting up, the patient unfortunately passed away before we could even get him in the room to work on him. And that's happened a few times where people die, but it really brought home the like, life is short. Go for it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, shoot. Yay, I get to go home early, but also like this person literally just died and we were about to save them, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm sure it was a weird
Yeah, it was like this
feeling.
whole mindset of like, okay, well, let's go. Your mind is so focused on how can we help? Like, let's get stuff ready. Let's go.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, everybody stop. We're done.
Well, and like a human life was just lost. And
exactly. And you
it's
start
another day like at work. Like this is your average, ordinary, everyday life doing this for people. But in reality, like someone's best friend, someone's dad, someone's whoever
right.
just like lost
is
their
gone.
whole life.
Yeah, is gone. And And when you think about that in a more personal level, when one of your close ones has passed away, you realize how big that actually is. And so, yeah, the idea that people are dying all the time around us gives a lot of perspective, and it's very humbling, I feel like, to, again, just know and realize that there's so much life to be lived and learned.
I think the thought of like you don't know when you're gonna die has really affected my decision making.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about it.
Especially just like in travel, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to see all these things and all these places, and I'm always like, well, I want to go like tomorrow, you know, like I want to go next week or next month, you know, like let's do this. Let's
call my
go.
name. Let's go.
Right, and then I'm like, well, okay, I should probably save up money, you know, and I should be responsible, and I should go on like maybe one trip this year. I have my whole life to do other trips, but then it's like, and this is where it really affects my decision making of like, well, if I think I have all life to do it, I never know when I'm going to die, and so I want to do it all now, you know. And I think that's a lot of living your 20s is when you get that spark of life, of trying to experience everything about life, you know.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and I feel like that would be something to talk to some more experienced folk out there, of
some oldies. It's funny to look at adults who have so much more experience than you. For me, I look at them like, this is who they are. This is them. This is everything that defines them. But I need to remind myself that these people have 50 years of experience. They've been in the 23-year-old's mind, you know?
Right.
They've done everything that I've done, and they're at this point. Like, whoever they are at 50 is probably different than who they were at 20, you know? Like, this whole person has been being developed for 50 years. And sometimes I'm like, you know, they're just... Like, I'm a 23-year-old. I know what I'm doing, and I know what's right, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But they were also 23, you know, and some.
Right.
And so it's just funny that life is just full of, like, experience, obtaining experience. And so I think it's cool to talk with older people, especially, like, grandpas and people who have been around the block for a long time,
mm-hmm.
and talk about the experiences that have led them to that point.
Right, like the things that they chose to do in their life that have led them to where they're at now.
Right. Definitely. There are just some people that live little experience and people who live a lot of experience. It's just trying to figure out what you want to experience in life. There was a girl that we met yesterday, walking around U of U campus, just like we were taking pictures, hanging out, you know, and then this girl came up to Pierce and started talking to him, and I joined, and anyways, through conversation, she ended up joining us for a little bit and walked through campus, and the whole time she was just so like wide-eyed, excited. Everything was so beautiful. She kept on saying like, oh my gosh, this place is so awesome and so beautiful. And, you know, you could just tell that she hasn't been around a lot, or like,
mm-hmm.
U of U campus was very beautiful to her, and she had never been there, and she's a student, you know what I mean? Like she didn't take the time to like walk around.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
Right. Like really take it in or just enjoy it. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
She didn't know where she was going. She was a little stressed out. She was kind of all over the place. It's just fun and nice to see that everybody, and I guess I shouldn't say everybody.
Yeah, I get you.
But most people
uh-huh.
get a lot of satisfaction, a lot of just true joy from experiencing the world around them, just where they live, and focusing on the present moment that they're at. You can find a lot of just joy and peace. Walking
around like our neighborhood or downtown, for me, taking pictures, I've realized that like everything around me can be beautiful if I choose it to be. You know, if mm-hmm. this art of videography or this photography mindset that I've been able to develop helps me see everything much more like artsy and cinematic almost.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree that you can experience beautiful things around you. It's just sad to see how little someone will experience. Something that I wrote down when we were walking away after that, I said, some people will experience so little in this life and others will experience so much. I'm just happy with my experiences, and I want to push myself to experience more.
Amen.
Thank you.
Preach it.
I'll be here all night.
Twice a week?
Probably 7 times a week because I live here.
Oh, nice.
And this isn't to say that girl, I thought that she was like lame, you know? Like she was very sweet. She was nice, and I was happy to show her around. And I think that's a part of, especially part of Saunders Sites, but it should be a part of everyone's life of showing people good times and good experiences. You know, we've taken a few people camping for their first time and it was awesome.
It's true. My stepbrother is a good example. I remember he took us rock climbing when we first moved to Utah, and he was so excited. He's always so excited. He loves rock climbing. He has a bunch of shoes and a bunch of ropes. He knows some places down in St. George. And I agree. When people just have something that they really enjoy in life, and I feel like you only find those things, again, just through experience and through trying things. And when you share that with people, you find joy and they find joy because it's new for them. And it's kind of just like a whole kumbaya of good feelings, you know?
Right. It's whenever you're trying to learn something new, you either look up something on YouTube or ask your friends or whatever, you know. I know a few of the points that we talked about tonight are things that we've already talked about to like a little extent. I don't know. I feel like it's all connected.
Right. It's all pretty intertwined.
I think the reason for that is a constant reminder about how short life is and the things that we have to do to enjoy it and get the most out of it. I think that's mainly the whole purpose of the podcast. Is we learn things throughout our daily life and we come here and we talk about it to try to help people realize the shortness of life and experience it in new and exciting ways.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say that you also sparked a thought in me though of how life seems like it's going to last forever. Like I have maybe another 40, 50, 60 years left to live. Like that sounds kind of miserable.
Sorry about it. My bad.
No, I think it was great because it also helped me think about like why should you be excited for the future? Why should you care? You know, and again, it's like the glass half full, half empty idea of like, I agree. Doing things now, doing things in the present, experiences now is what's going to help you enjoy your life in the future more. You just know things. You just have experienced it, you know? You don't have to guess or I feel like human nature is you find things and you always tweak it throughout your life, like doing it a little bit better, easier, quicker, you know?
That's why old people are so smart.
They're so wise.
Like when you are 16 years old and you need to change your first like tire, they've done it 100 times at least, you know, they're just experienced. They've had like shit happens, you know, but it wouldn't have happened if they weren't on that trip, you know?
Right.
So experiencing things leads you to problems, and overcoming those problems are experiences to help you with further problems and teaching opportunities.
Exactly right. What an equation of life here.
Yeah, it's a big circle of just getting messed up.
It's a big circle of living and learning.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah. You just live and you learn and you keep doing it.
Because you never learn.
Exactly.
Yeah. We have plenty of those examples. But again, constant reminder, life is so short. Just get out and do something, talk to people, help people experience new things. Like you have talents that you can teach people. And so I think you should use that.
It's a big, beautiful world out there that we all live in. So
let's experience it together.
Let's have a kick-ass time while we're all alive.
Yeah. It's only January and we have so much more of the year. So start making some plans to do some great stuff this year.
Amen.
Cool. Well, with that, check out Saunders Sites, phone cases,
stickers,
apparel soon, and like or subscribe to the podcast, whatever platform that you're listening on. Share it with some friends. I think that goes along with sharing experiences. If we have inspired, hopefully maybe some people, you know, like share it with other people, inspire other people to be more outdoorsy or experience life, like enjoying the life. So if you have an episode that you like, send it to someone you think it could help.
Please, that'd be great.
Yeah, we're all here to help people. So with that, we will see you next time.
Bye.